The swearing-in ceremony for the new cabinet of the Sri Lankan government will be held on Monday at the Presidential Secretariat in the presence of President Dissanayake. Local media reports suggest that the president plans to appoint a 23-member cabinet, retaining the key portfolios of defence and finance under his leadership. According to the reports, Dr. Harini Amarasuriya is set to be reappointed as Prime Minister, while Vijitha Herath will continue in his role as the Foreign Minister. The ruling National People's Power Alliance won a landslide at the parliamentary elections, winning 159 out of 222 seats, increasing their tally from 3 seats. Earlier in September, NPP leader Dissanayake won the presidential election, riding on an anti-corruption and economic reforms campaign. All right, DD India's Dr. Ahmed Moeen Farooqi joins us from Colombo. Ahmed, good morning. Now, we've just given a broad outline of who is expected to make it to the cabinet of the president, but you get us the details. What are you picking up?
Preeti, very good morning to all of our viewers. Yes, the swearing-in ceremony is scheduled to be held today morning at around 10 a.m. at the Presidential Secretariat. The President has constantly said that the ministerial allocation, the allocation of the portfolios in his cabinet will be done on a very, very scientific basis. He has assured that he will identify people on the basis of their expertise and their merit, and not on the basis of personal contacts, which has been alleged to have happened in the previous regimes in Sri Lanka. Preeti. That apart, if you remember, immediately after President Dissanayake had assumed office, he had appointed a 3-member cabinet, which included him, Dr. Harini Amarasuriya as the Prime Minister, and Mr. Vijitha Herath, who had under his command several key portfolios, including Foreign Ministry, Public Security, and several others. Now, this will be an excellent opportunity for the NPP government, the new government, to go ahead and design and plan a cabinet which can cover all the ministries in a very scientific manner. That said, it is very important to note here that almost all the NPP parliamentarians, barring 3, are people who are first-time parliamentarians who have no experience in any manner whatsoever in the parliament or in positions as minister or deputy minister. That will be a very key important point to be noted here, because without expertise and any prior experience, they might have some initial issues with regard to adjusting and adapting to their roles in their new positions. However, it is also important to note that apart from these ministers, 23 ministers which have been informed so far, there's also going to be positions such as 28 deputy ministers will be appointed. And the president has said that wherever there are big ministries, there will be a possibility of appointing more than 1 deputy minister, so that the work can be shared between them. But till that time, the entire details of the portfolios, what will be announced, that has not been disclosed yet. Most probably we'll be able to get the details once the swearing-in ceremony is completed. Please.
All right. So once the swearing-in ceremony will be completed, more clarity will be there. But then, Ahmed, help us understand what are the challenges for the new dispensation there, though not new. But then what would be the challenges ahead, ending corruption, bringing the economy on track, dealing with the domestic crisis and the problems that faced after the turmoil that was witnessed in 2022. Put all this together, what challenges are up the sleeves of the dispensation there?
Preeti, you see, you rightly mentioned the economic issues had been high on the cards during the election campaign. That said, the issues of allegations regarding corruptions and corrupt practices, corrupt policies by previous regimes, they will be high on the agenda of the government, and they will plan to initiate corrective steps in this regard by probably bringing in more measures to curtail corruption, as well as bring in more transparency in the government. In addition to that, the government has talked about bringing in and initiating several investigations into the past actions by the previous governments. Meanwhile, it is also important to note that yes, 2022 during the year, it was the peak of the economic crisis which Sri Lanka was reeling under. Of course, the effects of it exist even to this day. In the manner that food and fuel prices are pretty high, much higher than what used to be before 2022. And that has been one of the key issues which people have talked about. And the campaigns of NPP had talked about bringing down the fuel prices, electricity tariffs, and many other things. And this will be something which will be keenly looked at, because the new government will have to deliver on their promises which they have made during the election campaign, as well as included in their manifesto. And that is something which people have been hoping that some decision on this would come out immediately after the parliament starts getting convened, and that is anyway scheduled to happen later this week on 21st of this month. But once all these activities are started, thereafter the government will face its challenges with regard to, on one end, balancing the IMF deal, and on the other end, curtailing and relaxing the austerity measures which they have already promised that they would be doing. So it is going to be a very tough task for the government, but it needs to be seen how they will find alternative revenues for the government. Preeti.
All right, Ahmed, we'll leave it here. Thank you for joining in with those details.